Alright guys, thanks for joining. Today we're going to try to do an experiment. Basically what I want to do is I want to run a local AI model, and then I have a prompt that I've created. With this prompt, the gist of the prompt is to basically create a tic-tac-toe application that I can use locally. I will use nerdctl with compose to start ollama, and then after ollama's up I will preload the model into VRAM, and then after preloading the model into VRAM I'll go ahead and install Aider and run it and see where it goes. So with that, let's take a look at the README. So as I mentioned earlier, right, the purpose or the overview of what we're trying to do. Here's the command that I have for starting up my version of local ollama, and then the curl command to go ahead and preload the model into VRAM. So let's get that. Let's start that. So now that we have started up ollama, I have already downloaded the models locally to my system. So I've done that setup and root list container runtime. I'm not going to be covering that. I do have some documentation on that I can share, but that's not the purpose of this video. Now that I have started up ollama, I want to check that it's actually running. So here we can see that the port is responding and we're getting a HTTP 200 request. So now that that's there, what I want to do is preload the qwen2.5-coder 14B model into my GPU. So let's try doing that. Alright, so it is loaded now. Let's check on my NVIDIA graphics card to see what our usage looks like. And actually, oh yeah, okay, yeah, here it is. So we're good. We're using, what's that, close to 12 gigabytes? Yeah. Alright, so the model is loaded, and I think one thing we could do is also check here, and yep, you can see it, it's loaded. So let me add that to the documentation. If the model is loaded, all right. So now that we've confirmed that the model is loaded, preloaded, and it's going to be there for about roughly 3 hours, right? I want to go ahead and keep going with the instructions. So let's keep moving along. All right. So we started ollama, we preloaded the model, verified that it's actually preloaded. Now let's go ahead and install Aider. So I'm going to create a virtual environment for Aider. Now that the virtual environment is created, I'm going to go ahead and activate it, confirm that my Python is indeed coming from the virtual environment, and now let's install the Python module per the installation instructions, which there are several. The one that I'm following is where you install it this way, and then you run this Aider install command. All right, now that Aider install command finished, we have to set up some environment variables to get it to work. So let's export these two variables here, and the API key doesn't really matter. It could just just be set to that. It doesn't care. Then we go ahead and we run Aider. All right, so Aider has been created, installed. Now we're running it. So this is the first time I'm running it within this directory. So let's see. Let's just do yes for now. Yeah. Okay, and we have started. All right, so we're going to go into kind of like a plan mode to some extent, just like if you're using Cloud Code. All right, and then the thing that I would like for Aider to do is to read the prompt that I have created at prompts directory, and I need to get the full path. So. All right, and why is that not working? I wonder if I need to do. I've actually never done this one before. Read only. Let's look at the instructions. In chat commands. Read only. Add files. Okay. Okay. So then I should be able to add, and then oh, I know what's happening. I did not specify the correct path. So this is in Aider. There we go. There we go. That was it. All right, so now that it's been added, question is, I need to tell the CLI how to essentially go through the prompt. How exactly do we do that? Let's see, we're going to experiment here, right? This is all for learning purposes. So, can you read the prompt I just added as read only? Okay. It can read it, all right. So evaluate the prompt that was added via okay. This is good. So the prompt you added is a set of instructions for creating a Python terminal game for 2 players, tic-tac-toe. Here's a brief evaluation of the prompt. Objective, the prompt clearly states the objective of creating a Python terminal game for 2-player tic-tac-toe, which is to be played offline without internet access. Gameplay mechanics, it describes the basic mechanics of the game, including the 3x3 grid, alternating turns between players, and the goal of getting 3 in a row horizontally, vertically, or diagonally. Input handling, the prompt specifies the players select squares by entering the numbers. Yeah, Output, okay, so overall the prompt is clear, concise, and provides a comprehensive set of instructions for developing a 2D game. Any further synthesis or have questions about the prompt, feel free to ask. Okay, how can we get started in creating the game? Yeah, that was too much of a verbose prompt, or I guess open-ended prompt. Okay, let's review what it responded with. So it says to get started on creating the TikTok game based on the provided prompt, you can follow these steps. 1, set up the project structure, creating a new directory for your project. Okay, and initialize the new project using Python. Okay, so creating the virtual environment, which you already have, so we don't need that. Create the file, tic-tac-toe pie. Initialize the game board. Create a 3x3 grid to represent the tic-tac board. You can use the list of lists or NumPy array for those purposes. Game loop. Implement a game loop that will keep the game running until there is a winner or the board is full. Within the loop, alternate turns between the two players. Player input. Prompt the current player to enter a number between 1 and 9. Validate the input to ensure it's a valid move. Update the board. Place the player's marks X or 0 on the board after a valid move. Check for a winner or draw after each move. Check if there are 3 of the same marks in a row, column, or diagonal. Also check if the board is full and there is no winner. Okay. Display the board after each move along with a numbered reference grid for player input. Play again option. After the game ends, ask the player. Yep. Okay. So here's the basic outline of what the code might look like. Okay. So print board. Check winner. So for rolling board, cell equals player. For cell and row, return true. For column and range, so this one is if they're in a row. And then this check this one is the column checked. So vertical. And then this one, this might be a diagonal check, is what this is. Yeah, I think that's what that is. This is the diagonal check. Okay. Then this one checks to see if the board is full, which essentially is going through each row in the board and then checking to see if the value is set to essentially not necessarily an empty string, but a space character in this case. It's interesting that it shows a space character for empty. So for current player, so it's using capital X. Interesting, it shows capital X. That's okay. While true, okay, so here's the board, okay. You can expand upon this, adding more features such as better input validation and more sophisticated user interface addition givens. Okay. All right. So I'm okay with what this has done. So once we're done with ask mode, I kind of want to like switch it to just implement this. So I wonder if it's like we have to use /code, or I'm looking at the instructions here. So so here's read only and chat modes. So you can use ask, code, and so there's 3: code, architect, ask. Ask is where we are, so we could, ask code workflow. So you ask, okay, and then yes, that's the idea. What are some creative options? Okay, okay, and then I guess I switch it to code mode. Okay, so let's do that. So /code. I wonder what happened to the context. Is the context still there? I think the context got lost when it switched between access and code. I'm not sure. Please go ahead with implementing the prior plan. Okay. Oh, how do I? I'm in context mode, so how do I go back to, okay, code mode. All right. Please go ahead and implement the prior plan. Okay, that's the code. Yes. Okay, so it says that it created it. Let's go and confirm that. Oh, that's right, because I started Aider up here. So it did create the file. Okay. Let's take a look at what it wrote. I hope there's no tabs in this. So I do not like tabs. Let's find out. None. Okay, good. Though it did include some extra white space. That's why I should say. Okay, let's go back to the top. So good thing is it didn't import anything that I can tell. It's purely like standard out with print statements. There's a print board function. Well, let's give it a try. So we need to activate the virtual environment and let's make sure we're using, okay. So this is the, okay. Oh, this looks terrible. Why does this look like this? Well, let's just keep enter a number for X's turn. All right, so let's see. So 3. All right. O's turn. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I want to go in the middle, so it'd be 5. Okay. And now it's X turn, so I want to do 1. For the most part, it works. I guess it's not the visualization I expected for text. So maybe we can make some modifications where it clears the screen every time it prints the board. We could try. Let's see if we could do that. Okay, so let's exit. That's fine. That's just because I Control-C'd it. So I tried playing the game. All right, let's add the file, and it's called. All right. Oh, it's already in the chat file, so we don't need to add it. Okay, so I tried playing the game, but I noticed the board, when printed, will just be printed below the prior output. Is there a way that we can make it, we can clear the screen before printing the board? Let's see if that works. The board, you can use CLS. No, but we are on Linux, so CLS won't work. That's for Windows. Okay. All right, so it changed the game, the file. So let's see where it's at. What did it do? Aha. Okay. Oh, that's what it's doing. They're doing CLS if it's NT. If not, then it's just okay. Simple. A simple. If ternary, if else, and then an OS system command. Will that even work though? Let's find out. Okay, so it did print it. Let's find out. So we said earlier that 5 was the center. Perfect. I think one thing I would like to do is just do minor kind of like stylistic change in that it actually looks like a cross, and we eliminate the last that bottom kind of basically this line here. So let me just quickly take a look at the code, see if there's something I can do real quick. If not, I'll just ask the model to make the change. So how does it print it? Okay, so for row on the board, it just prints it times 5. So what is board? That's the other question. Board is equal to that. Okay, so it's a list of lists. That's what it is. So does board have a list method? We could use the range function. Is it range? I think it is. For row in board, let's do a quick lookup. Python for loop range on list. So yeah, it is range. So we could do, yeah, we can do something like this. Yeah, that's what I thought. All right, so it'd be print board. It would be here actually. So here, if the row is less than, and then it'd be length of the board. Board. Yeah, if it's, yeah. It's zero index, so it'd be 0, 1, 2, 0, 1, 2. Would that be correct? And yeah, 0, 1, 2. I think I have to do -1. Let's try that out. It's because I put it in the wrong spot. It was a list of lists, right? So if the board, if the, oh, so row should be, oh, I see what's happening. So row is a list. So what we're doing is we're checking if the the actual list itself is list. No, that's wrong. We need a counter instead of what we're doing here. So we have to keep track of the current index. That's the problem. No worries. All right, so for row in board in range, yeah. So we do range, and then here would be board, because row represents the index in the board, and then instead of calculating the length of the board all the time, what we could do is do something like this. Board length, and then oh yeah, board length. Okay, and then this would be the row index, right? So if the row is less than the board length, then alright, print that. Okay, let's try this out one more time. Okay, so probably need to do the -1. Hey, there it is. Okay, now the other thing I want to do is I want to make a small change where instead of doing print 5, I'm just going to minor tweak the separation between the lines, the rows, so it looks a little better. Yeah. Hey, that looks more like a tic-tac-toe. So we got 2 there and probably 4 over there. So maybe we'll do 8 instead. This is, you know, just a little eye visual here. Let's just do 8 and see how that looks like. Nope, it should have been 9. All right. Yeah, that looks much better. All right, so let's do the center. So 5 is X, it's O's turn, so O will be No, we'll do 1, and then X's turn. X will be 5, 6, 7. Let's do 7. Okay, and then O will be, I don't know, 3. Okay, and since O can win, we'll do 2. And I guess, let's say O doesn't realize that he's losing, so he'll do something like, I don't know, 9. And then X can do 8. Hey, that's nice. All right. No, I don't want to play again. All right, so let's do some modifications to the file real quick. I just want to do, there's one simple change, and that's basically, I wonder if this is the actual, like, interaction of what you're supposed to do. I wonder if, like, you need to, like, drop into, like, edit mode into Aider. Does Aider even allow you to do that? Let me check the in-chat command, see if there's something like that. Is there like an edit mode? So it is for editor, open editor to write a prompt. Editor, switch the editor model to a new, no. So you can exit, but you can't like from the CLI like drop into an editor. It doesn't look like it. I mean, you can open the editor, but that's just to write a prompt. So that doesn't necessarily make sense to me. All right, so I'm just going to continue with my current way of doing things for now. So the one very simple, I guess, hack, if you will, that I want to do, so I just want to add a new line, 2 new lines, kind of like a header, like at the top, and then a new line in between the actual tic-tac board and kind of like the you know, hey, you know, player 1 turn, all that stuff. So let's add the, is there print, there's print board. So print board is here, so it prints the board, then it prints the current player's turn, and then it just iterates and does that. Alright, so let's go back to the print board function. And the thing that I want to do is I want to add a kind of like a print, you know, like a tic-tac-toe, I don't know. And then a new line. Do I need to do new lines? I don't think I need to do new, actually I do want a new line. Let's do like a, let's do like a, let's play tic-tac-toe. And then after it prints the board, what I want it to do is, oh, we're not in Python 2 anymore. It'd be just a straight up new line, honestly. I think I could just get away with doing this. Let's try this out and one more time. Yeah. That looks cool. All right. So it's player X's turn. Let's say X is, I don't know, 7, and O is 9. X is 5 in the middle. Now we're with a conundrum because it's O's turn, and O can go at the top. So we'll say O3. What happens if I put in a number that is greater than? So we're just going to do a quick sanity test on the bounds check. So they're like 10. Okay, so 10 doesn't work. What about like 0? Okay, so the square is already occupied. Try again. 0? That looks like a bug to me. Bug in the error message, because your answers are 1 through 9, right? Those are the only options that you can choose, but 0 says that it's already occupied. 0 isn't a valid option either. It shouldn't even say that it's occupied. So that is a bug. All right, let me exit the application. And what I want to do is just first tell it that I have made some manual changes to the file. Please reload it from disk. See if that's something it can do. While this is running, one of the things I want to check is on my graphics card. So we're at GPU utilization 99%, but the VRAM's still good. Yeah, we're still gravy on the VRAM. Just that the CPU is a bit a bit overloaded there. All right, so let's all right, so it's reloaded it. Now I need to tell it the problem that we hit earlier. So I was testing the input options for setting a board, setting I guess, or for selecting a spot on the board, and discovered that the input validation for the value 0 is incorrect. The error message I get is that I get when using 0 as an input. So the error message I get when using 0 as an input says that what was it that it said? It says that the square is already occupied. Try again. So it says try again. This is invalid because the position 0 doesn't exist in the board and should not be a valid option. Let's see what it does. So it says to fix the input validation for value 0, we need to ensure that input is within the range of values 1 through 9. We can add a check to handle the case to provide an appropriate error message. Here is the updated tic-tac-toe file with the input validation fix. So if it's less than, if the move is less than 0 or move is greater than 8, which is wrong, that seems like a hallucination to me, because 9 is a valid option. So it has to be less than 1 and greater than 9. That's my thinking. So the value 0 is an invalid option. However, 9 is a valid option. So why are we still allowing 0 as a valid option with the latest patch, but now not allowing the value 9? This is why you always need to verify. Let's check on that. Okay. So it made changes, didn't tell me what changes it made, or at least it didn't show me them. Okay, so let's take a look at the code, see what change it did. It didn't make it. It didn't make a change at all. Oh, I see what it's doing. I did not read the one before. So see, it's subtracting 1 from the input. So if you select 1, if you do 1, it does 1 minus 1 is 0. Okay. All right. So I did not see that earlier. Did it? Oh, okay. Yeah. So I did not notice that. That's why this still works. Okay. So let's test it out. All right. So Python. I'm just going to enter the 0. See what happens. Oh, perfect. Okay, let's do this 9. Is 9 still working though? Yeah, perfect. 9 still works. What about 10? Okay. I have another sneaky test. What happens when I put the letter A? That's nice. So it's actually able to detect that A is an incorrect value input. I actually didn't see how it... Okay. So it takes an input value and then it tries to convert it to integer. So did it oh, let's see. I kind of want to have somewhat of a distinction between this error message and that one. So I'm just gonna do like you know, invalid input used, just to make it slightly different. So let's run it again, and then again A. Okay, perfect. So it was going through the try accept, catching it, and then okay, perfect. All right, good. Okay. All right. I think this is a good first way to create an application. Can we just write one simple automated test? Let's see if we can get it to write a simple test. Can you please write one simple unit test? Yes. All right, I want to see what this does. Let's see what it did. All right, so it created a board, and So it created a board, then it tested the. But this is wrong though, because you can't just have 3x's. You know, there's two players, right? So there's be x. There should be an XX, x and O, right? So, I'm just gonna just leave it like that for now. That is correct. That's correct. Okay, and this is diagonal check. That's good. And then this one. This is actually a winner. This is actually a winner. This is diagonal. So this is incorrect. See? Diagonally. Interesting. So it sees this as this diagonal, right? So from diagonally right to left as winner, but it does not check that. So I guess this is a backslash diagonal, and then this is a forward slash diagonal. So let me see if we can fix that. See if that's too difficult. Cause that's incorrect. That's a correct. That's a winner. So I just inspected the test and discovered that this isn't even valid, actually, because once you hit this isn't a valid test, because you have here, right, winner, and in here winner. So this test just looks weird. You can't even get to this point. It has two diagonal for x. Specifically, left to right and right to left. This is an invalid move because once a player hits 3 in a row, they win, which you can see, which, well, it can't see. Which the player X has won twice, essentially. This seems like a bug to me. Yeah, see? Okay, I want to see what it changed, because I still don't think it's still okay. The last change is semi correct. However, X is still a winner. Think of it of the diagonals looking as backslash or forward slash, no matter which direction you are in. If there is 3 in a row, for the diagonal, you are a winner. In this test, X is clearly a winner. However, the test expects that there is no winner. Now, I still think this didn't, the AI didn't understand. So yeah, clearly there's no winner here, but yes, the test is now fixed. However, the prior board was still a valid game win for the player X, which means the validation for checking on a winner is missing that additional diagonal representation. No. Should have prompted that correctly. There we go. So what did it do? That looks like a change. Yeah, it's a reverse diagonal. Okay, so that's what it's calling it, a reverse diagonal. Okay. This update adds a new test case to ensure that the check winner functions correctly in the winner frag. Okay. Oh, it's actually committing the changes and everything. That's cool. All right, so let's take a look at what changes it made. All right, so you have test winner, row, column, and you have diagonal and then reverse diagonal. Okay. This is still wrong. Why does what is that? Is that considered a so I want to run this test. Oh, I would have to. There is no. Yeah, this isn't gonna work because it's not a module. Dicto isn't a module. So, for simplicity's sake, what I could do, I wouldn't recommend this. Let's just I mean the recording is already too long, so I'm just going to cat tic-tac-toe and append it into the test itself. I don't like this, but this is better than anything else. All right, so this only thing this really needs is just the check winner function. So let's just grab the check winner function. Oh wait. Yeah, it does. That all it uses? Yeah. Okay. Boop. All right. Let's. I don't know. Let's grab this function because that's the only thing it was testing. Yeah, the test isn't good. Let's just put it that way. Kind of crappy. But we can test it this way. Eee, see? I knew it. I fully expect that last test. So let's open up. That test is invalid. Is an invalid test. So if anything, we'll do is set this to X and this to O. Hey, there we go. Perfect. All right. So the reason why the test wouldn't work earlier is because the tic-tac-toe application it created isn't a module itself. There's two ways to fix that problem. One is to literally create it, transform it into a module using a TOML file or set up that pi. Another would be to kind of do some hacky stuff with OS and then like the direct path and doing an import that way. But I don't want to do either of them right now. The whole point of this was just to test it, see how good it is. It works. It's okay. But I don't think it would work very well on a bigger project. At least I don't think it has enough space for context. My GPU, as you were seeing earlier, if we look at it again, it was pretty much earlier pegged at like 99%. So in summary, it's a good test case, I guess, to do. So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to exit Aider. Usually when I'm using like Cloud Code as an example, I would tell it to kind of document everything it did, write it to, and then whatnot. But at this point, it's just a test. I'm gonna exit, deactivate the virtual environment, and do it over here too, so we don't need to run it anymore, and just basically tell ollama to stop the model. And let's see, is it running? Nope, it's not running anymore. Perfect. So now we can use nerd. I have to go into the Aider directory and do nerdctl compose down. Alright, so if I do nerdctl ps say, perfect. It's no longer running, everything is shut down. Thank you everyone for joining. I'll be uploading this code to GitHub for others to test out if they want. Alright, thanks. Bye.